Hey everybody, so I'm making this video from my car because I'm having a day. My daughter is sick and she's home, but luckily, someone's with her so I could run out to the grocery store and grab some stuff that we need. And I'm running out of daylight. The sun's gonna set soon, but I am like trying to make videos work. So here I am making a video in my car real quick because it's Tuesday and I said I would. So what I want to talk about, and this is going to have to be short, and I know I say that frequently, but it really is. What I want to talk about is this idea, something that a client said to me that's been on my mind, the difference between passion and drama, and how we can utilize our understanding of that difference to keep ourselves healthy, keep ourselves safe, and to keep ourselves removed from toxic situations and toxic circumstances, whether they be with in a romantic relationship or even just like any kind of situation that can turn toxic. Because in our culture we romanticize this idea of passion, and we romanticize the way that we think it's going to look. And we also romanticize abusive dynamics. We don't even realize it, but we do. Like things like in the romantic comedies when the woman says no, but the man pursues harder and chases her down in the airport in some dramatic montage. Is that nice for a movie? Maybe, but if she meant no, then he's being controlling and crazy and abusive, and it's not okay, right? And we have to know what our own personal boundaries are. We have to know what our own rules are. We have to know when our boundaries are being violated, because as I've taught before, any kind of violation of boundaries is abuse. When you say, like, for example, let's talk about this romantic comedy sort of example. If you say, I'm done, it's over, and the person continues to pursue you and won't let it be over, that's abusive. Now, some people can see that and go, oh, it's love, it's so passionate, like, whatever. Is it though? There's a lot of times when I deal with clients who are trying to get out of their abusive relationships and they're not allowed to leave. People are like, what do you mean not allowed? And it means they're not allowed to leave. Their significant other refuses to actually break up with them or refuses to acknowledge that the breakup is happening. They'll just pretend like it didn't happen. They'll just start talking about it as if it's not a thing. They'll just not acknowledge that it's real. They'll just continue to show up. If they don't live together, they'll continue to show up at their house, or they'll continue to show up at their work, or they'll continue to just maintain behavior that forces the abuse victim or the person who's trying to leave to continuously reestablish the breakup. Well, as we know, someone who's in an abusive relationship is having a hard time establishing their breakup to begin with. They're having a hard time establishing their boundaries to begin with. It's a huge triumph to try to leave in a controlling or abusive relationship to begin with. But then to feel that you have to continuously do it is very, very, very challenging. And it's not impossible, totally possible. Like, please stick with it if you're trying to leave a relationship like this. But it's challenging. And the controlling person in the relationship, the abuser, the one who doesn't feel like having the relationship be over, well, they know that. They know that if they just push it, if they just ignore it, if they just steamroll the boundary, then it won't stick, it won't take, and they'll get their way. See, controlling somebody else is all about the person who's being controlling getting their way. They just want what they want. They don't want to be told no. And so when this happens, it's really challenging for the person who is trying to establish what they need and stand up for themselves to continue to do that, because it's not in their comfort zone to establish what they need. It's not what they're used to doing. It takes a lot of practice. Which is why anytime I see a boundary being trampled on or ignored in any kind of media or anything like that, it's upsetting, because it's teaching people in our culture that boundaries are okay to just be ignored, walked over, steamrolled, whatever. And the first rule of, am I in a bad dynamic, is like, is someone completely ignoring my boundary? You're not allowed to just, if you respect someone, if you love someone, you can't also ignore their boundary. Those things don't go together. They just don't. Because if you're ignoring someone's boundary, you're saying, my needs are more important than your needs. My wants and desires matter more than yours. What you say makes you feel safe, or what you say you want, doesn't matter to me. And that's not love or respect. That's control and abuse. Now let's talk about this thing about passion versus drama, okay? I think that the culture, or I know that the culture, gets these things mixed up. Passion is when you have like highly charged emotions for someone, a chemistry with them, a physical, mental, spiritual, emotional connection that is like really like fire. It's like nice, it's good, it's like everything's firing, everything's good. It makes you feel like invigorated or alive or connected or seen, or just like super effervescent in some way or another. Passion is that highly charged, like really good sense that you get when you're super connected to someone and you really feel that connection with them. Drama will trigger a lot of highly charged feelings, but they're usually negative in nature. Okay? Drama is all about making someone feel inadequate, making someone feel less than, making someone feel big feelings, but in a way that is not okay. That in a way that's not safe, in a way that's not from love, in a way that's not from the highest good, in a way that's not kind. Emotionally abusive relationships are often very roller coastery. They're often really highly charged. The goods are good because when you are in a good situation, you might feel that passion. These are not mutually exclusive. You can have passion and drama. You can have passion in an abusive dynamic, but the predominant situation, the predominant energy of the circumstance is going to be drama, not passion. It's not going to come from that really good place. It's going to come from that place of like kind of always feeling afraid, kind of always feeling unsafe, kind of always being like, I never know what's going to happen next. Is it exciting, I guess, to live in a way where you never know what's going to happen next? Maybe, but I would ask you to examine that within yourself, because it's dangerous. It's not emotionally dangerous, and sometimes physically dangerous. It's not safe for anybody to never know if they're going to be met with love, tenderness, kindness. They're to never know if they're going to be treated with respect or understanding, or any of those good kinds of qualities that we look for in a relationship. People get worried that if they get out of the relationship that they're in, that they're sentencing themselves to something, quote, boring. And what I want to say is, it's not all or nothing out there. You don't have to settle for drama to have passion. You can have passion and have a safe environment. You can have passion without being afraid that your person is going to like belittle and damage and harm you. You can have passion without being afraid to do things with your person, or speak your truth, or speak your mind, or ask them to participate in something in your life that's important to you. You can have passion and have excitement. Excitement and drama are not the same thing. Drama is a thing that comes out of hostility and that sense of something feels really bad. I don't feel safe. I don't feel okay. I don't feel like I'm loved. I'm constantly on edge because I'm afraid in my relationship. I'm not emotionally in a safe place, or I'm not physically safe either. That is drama. That is not the same as passion. And I want to reassure anybody out there who's thinking, I think I'm in an abusive relationship, or I think things aren't okay. What do I do? Well, you follow your heart. Your heart knows the answers. And I literally mean that. Like, ask your heart, like, are you happy? Are you safe? Are you okay? Are you living? Is this what you want life to be? Imagine your life like 10 years from the future and nothing has changed from where it's at now, and you're still in the same cycle, and you're still doing the same things, and you're still feeling the same way every night. Is that how you want to have spent your life? Or do you want to pursue the places of safety, calmness, joy, peace, and passion that you literally can find by just following your truth and going out into the real world and seeing what's waiting for you out there? One or two moments of immense courage in speaking on your own behalf can really lend themselves to you having a whole different life and a whole different experience. But you have to be aware that that's what you want, and you have to constantly opt into choosing yourself. And is it hard at first? Yes. But is it worth it? Absolutely. Passion exists. Passion and drama, not the same thing. If you think that you have this really exciting relationship because it's really highly charged and the highs are really high and the lows are really low, I want you to really carefully re-examine. I want you to ask yourself, how many highs are there compared to how many lows are there? Is that a ratio that you're willing to have for the entirety of your life? Can you trust that if you can have passion with someone who is also so cruel to you, that there will be another person out there who you can have passion with and they will also be kind to you? Okay? It does exist. It is possible. Define for yourself what ways you are getting lost in this dynamic of passion versus drama. You might look at like someone in a regular life or whatever, and you might think, oh, that looks boring. I don't want a life like that. Well, you don't have to have a life like that. But the alternative isn't abuse. It's not abuse or boredom. There aren't only two choices. There's many choices on the continuum in between those two worlds. And it's up to you to cultivate and carve out a life for yourself that matches what you want, what's important to you. If you want something, it's because you're meant to have it. You can't want something that you're not meant to have. Whatever you're meant for, it's sending out a signal inside of your heart like a beacon, and it's saying, this is what you're supposed to be doing here. Let's go do it. And the more you ignore that, the less okay you're going to be. And the older you get, the harder it is to ignore these beacons, because the beacon inside of you knows you have limited time here, or you're missing these opportunities that are going to bring you closer to who you're supposed to be and the life you're supposed to have. So let's get it started. And the longer you ignore it and the harder it becomes to ignore it, the less okay you're going to be. Okay? And this is where self-destructive behaviors start to pick up. Because when we're not okay, because we're ignoring our truth, we start to just choose self-destructive behaviors to try to numb it out, ignore. And what you're doing is you're choosing destruction over just taking the hard step of asking yourself, who am I? What do I want? And how can I have these things? This is a question you can't avoid. You're going to eventually have to look at it. So I would just encourage you to look at it now rather than look at it when you are in a much worse off situation. And if anyone needs any support or anything like that, I'm still doing one-on-one coaching with people in abusive relationships. That has not changed. It's still a huge part of my practice, as it's always been. You can reach out to me in any capacity. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me here, and I'm always here for you. So if you have any questions about this dynamic, passion versus drama, please let me know. I know it's a shorter video this week, but not by much. And I hope you're all having a really good week. And please like or subscribe or share my videos if they resonate with you. I am not yet really marketing too much, but I'm hoping to do that soon. So anything you guys can do in that capacity would be of great help to me. Thank you all. Talk to you soon.